War, food shortages, inflation. That's the headlines of today. Do you feel alone? You shouldn't, because there are millions that feel the same way you do. We just have to find each other. Welcome to the Howell Report. Ukraine is on fire and all the world hates Russia. Saudi Arabia is talking about dropping the dollar in oil sales with China. How about Afghanistan? Did you realize that China has strengthened its relations with Afghanistan and is continuing to send supplies to the Taliban? China is filling the void there that the U.S. left, and currently there are dozens of Chinese mining companies in Afghanistan preparing to take advantage of the vast minerals it has to offer. So what's with all the talk about Russia and China? Let's go back to a Politico news article from February 2019. This is almost a year before COVID. Quote, "In the halls of the Kremlin these days, it's all about China and whether or not Moscow can convince Beijing to form an alliance against the West. A former advisor to Putin explained to me at breakfast, now everything must be about China. Russia's view of China has shifted significantly over the past 5 years. Moscow has abandoned any hope that the Chinese economy is an example it might emulate. Instead, foreign policy experts now talk of how Russia can use China to further its geopolitical goals. Seen from Moscow, there is no resistance left to a new alliance led by China. And now that Washington has imposed tariffs on Chinese exports, Russia hopes China will finally understand that its problem is Washington, not Moscow." In the past, the possibility of an alliance between the two countries have been hampered by China's reluctance to jeopardize its relations with the U.S. But now that it has already become a target, perhaps it will grow bolder. The thing to remember is that both countries are obsessed with overturning the American-led global order. We can only hope that what we are seeing in Ukraine is not the beginning of a much larger conflict. We can hope and pray that the violence doesn't spread to other countries and that the leaders of the world come to grips with reality. But what exactly do the leaders of the world want? Perhaps war is the goal. Why has the global elites pulled manufacturing out of the U.S. over the past several decades? Why have they pushed for the watering down of the American education system? Why have they printed trillions and trillions of dollars pretending to never see a backlash? Why have our leaders stood by and let the price of goods constantly outpace the amount of wages paid? So many questions, and when you start following the stories and the clues, you usually end up with more questions than you started with. There are many stories today about the growing alliance between Russia and China. There are almost daily reports of Chinese aircraft invading Taiwan airspace. We have American troops deployed to Eastern Europe and now to Australia. The signs point towards a possible World War III, and the news media are beating the war drums louder than ever. So in the meantime, make sure you are prepared for a worst case scenario. Make sure your family and friends have a plan if the unthinkable happens. And most importantly, keep educating yourself and those around you. If you would like to support the channel and you're looking for any type of tactical gear, AR-15 parts and accessories, optics, red dots, backpacks, any type of gear like that, be sure to check out Mercantile.com. That's Mercantile.com for all your tactical needs.